wonderful world, Elaine here, and today I'm coming to you from my hotel in Vienna. It is almost 8 a.m. and I have a cafe reservation at the cafe that Sigmund Freud used to hang out at. Isn't that crazy? I'm gonna be walking where that man walked. Anyways, so I'm gonna head to the cafe. I have to figure out public transportation because my hotel is not directly in the city center. It's about like a 15-minute subway tram ride. So let's see if we can figure it out. It would literally be a dream to live on a street like this. Like, imagine that green one up there is yours. This is one of the most beautiful churches I've ever been in my entire life. It's like the Gothic of Gothic. Like, literally look at all of this. I could probably just spend an hour just chilling in here. Look how pretty the outside is too. I'm actually reading Angels and Demons by Dan Brown right now, and it's making me want to see if there's like secret codes and stuff inside of that church. Like, it's the perfect setting for this book. Well, except for it's not Italy, but you get the vibe. I found a bookstore, and of course I went into it. And I always ask if they have a sticker because I collect bookstore stickers for the back of my laptop, and pretty much everywhere in Europe they look at me like I'm crazy. Even though a lot of places might not have like the vinyl sticker, they'll have the little circle one that you can use to like close a bag. But the lady in the store that I was just in was kind of rude. She was like, no. And it always makes me feel so stupid. And like, I'm not trying to be like I'm paying money to be here, but if you were nicer, it would make me more inclined to like buy a book. She was so rude and it makes me feel so embarrassed. And I need to just not be so sensitive because I fear that is just how Europeans are. They're very blunt. And I feel like especially German, Austrian people are very direct, and I am not good with direct. So it is on me as well. But dang, she was kind of mean. She made me feel really stupid, and then I just left. I was like, okay. But like, I swear I saw some. You know, like when you get a paper bag and they fold over the top and then they have like a little sticker to shut it? I've gotten a few of those from stores in Europe. So I'm like, okay, I feel like she just heard my accent and was like, I don't want to deal with you. It's fine. I'm just very sensitive, but I'm not gonna let it get me down. I just bought a ticket to go to the opera. Every morning of an opera performance at 10 a.m. they have standing tickets go on sale. And you have to get on right at 10 a.m. because they do sell out. And I was able to get one for 15 euros, but you do have to stand the entire time. Now I'm gonna go into the library. Okay, I'm about to go into the National Austrian Library. Look at it. Gorgeous. And also, what is that little castle over there? Oh, everything here is so pretty. This is like an ancient book. Isn't this so cool? This is the library's papyrus museum, and so it's got all of these like ancient, like old letters and contracts and notes written. A lot of them are from Egypt, but they're from all over, all different languages, and somehow they have managed to preserve them for this long. It's actually insane, and it's super cool to think about, like how communication has gone from like this to what we now have today, and how also it's like kind of similar. Like there's contracts and tax and letters to doctors, and it's like we were all just doing the same stuff, you know? A little differently and a little bit similarly. Okay, I lied. This is the actual library behind me. Where I was just like reading rooms and exhibit museums. This whole area is like the museum quarter, and it is literally so confusing. It's just like a gazillion museums all connected, because I think this all used to be like some ginormous palace, and now it holds different museums and such. I'm not sure. I go to that museum about like the history of the palace and the like imperial apartments this afternoon, so I haven't learned yet. But now I'm actually going to go into the library instead of just the papyrus museum. Dream. This is the most gorgeous library I've ever seen in my entire life. I could literally die here. Oh my god. How does one acquire this in their future home? It's like I'm in Beauty and the Beast in real life. Like I'm literally about to throw up and cry. Like, are we being so for real? I mean, and it just keeps on going. Like there's all this down there, all this down there. Oh. Okay, this is the Spanish riding school, like to see the horse, but then look, there's two cats over there. Hold on. Do you see them? Oh, here comes the other one. Do you see him in the little tunnel? Gosh, I literally love cats on this mine. No way. Now what's he gonna do? Okay, I'm about to go into the CC Museum and Imperial Apartments. I just had apple strudel and a cappuccino, and it was really, really good, but the experience was really weird. The cafe was super cozy. I could tell there was a lot of locals there, but the server like would not bring me my bill. I had to ask multiple times, and it took 40 minutes. I was reading and I wasn't in a rush, so it was fine. I just kind of wanted to chill anyways, but he took so long. And then at the end, he was like, "Oh, by the way, you can tip me if you want." But he didn't say that to anyone else who was paying attention. And I was the only person that was like not speaking German. Anyways, now I'm gonna go into this museum. Okay, now I am headed to the opera. Sorry for this like weird angle. I literally could not find anywhere else but the camera right now. Okay, now I'm headed to the opera. So this morning I went to Cafe Central, which is where Sigmund Freud used to hang out, and then I went to St. Stephen's Cathedral, which is like one of the prettiest churches I've ever been in, ever. Then I went to a different church called St. Michael's, and then I did the Papyrus Museum, which was really cool. Boring if you're not interested in the history of writing and books like I am. I once did like an online course about like the world's oldest stories and how those stories were written down and passed down. So it was really cool to see papyrus in real life because I have literally done an online course about that. And then I went to the National Library. Again, I literally almost cried. So beautiful. Then I got lunch with that one guy that took like literally 40 minutes to give me the check. I was like, please. It really wasn't that big of a deal, but then the audacity that he was like, "Oh, and also you can tip me if you want," but he didn't say that to anyone else. I literally was listening. Or like if he did, he said it in German, but no one had left cash and nobody else scanned a QR code like he told me to. So I don't know. It was fine. I had homemade apple strudel and it was really yummy. And then after that, I learned it's called the Sissy, not Cece. I don't know if this is embarrassing or not, but I've literally never heard of her. I don't know if we were taught about her in school and I just don't remember, or if we never were taught about her, but I had never heard of Empress Elizabeth, who went by Sissy. Apparently there's a lot of movies made about her, so I'm gonna check those out because she had such a cool story. She's just such an enigma of a woman. Definitely had mental illness, definitely was depressed, definitely, if she was born today, I don't think she would have chosen the life of wife and mother. I think a lot of women who didn't want that life are forced to have it and then get depression. She was really cool, and I ended up buying a bust of her head, LOL, but it's gonna look so cool on my bookshelf. And then after that, I headed back here. I just ate a pretzel and was just chilling and watching the Olympics in German. And now I'm getting ready to go to the opera. This is my outfit. You can't see, but it's my Skims dress. As much as I'm a Swiftie, and as much as Kim Kardashian has done some interesting things, you gotta give it to her. Skims eats. I've got a Skims bra on and a Skims dress on, and they're two of the best things I've ever owned in my life. Thank you, Amy. Anyways, so now I'm gonna go get food and go to the opera. It is literally standing for 3 hours. So I might hate my life and leave early. We'll see, because I also might not understand anything that's happening. Apparently the seats have subtitles, but I don't know if that includes the standing room. So we're gonna find out. Okay guys, let's talk about that opera that I just watched. I did leave after Act 2. I couldn't do the third act. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen, and it wasn't because of the music or the actors. It was because the director of the performance, or the creator, whoever the creative team of this was, very clearly decided that they wanted to do a modern version of this opera. Okay? So if you're going to this opera expecting like big wigs and big dresses and like the little rosy cheeks, you're sadly mistaken. You're sadly gonna be disappointed, because basically, okay, so the opera that I saw is called La Traviata. It tells the story of Violetta, who is a courtesan in Paris, which means a sex worker for higher end men, okay, back in the olden day. And it's kind of giving Moulin Rouge because she has tuberculosis. Like, I didn't really know much about this opera, but I did do some Googling and some summary. I was trying to find the summary before I went to see it. Basically, she's this higher end courtesan, and this guy named Alfredo falls in love with her. They disappear from the social scene. They decide to be in love together, like out in the countryside, right? And then Alfredo's dad shows up and is like, Violetta, you need to leave my son because I have this daughter and she's trying to get married to this, like, you know, really wealthy guy, but you have ruined our family name because Alfredo was in love with, you know, a sex worker, and so you need to break up with him so that honor is restored to my family and my daughter can get married. And then the thing kind of spirals out from there. Okay, this would make sense in the context of whatever year it's supposed to take place in. Let me Google that. 1853. Okay, that all would totally make sense in the context of 1853. But it would make sense, like the tuberculosis and the why, like the social class is not mixing because he's like a wealthy guy and she's, you know, a courtesan. In the modern version, guess what job she has? She's an influencer. Because that's the same thing. And so when the dad shows up and is like, you've brought shame to my family because he's with an influencer, like, it just did not translate at all. And also, like, when they go to the countryside, it's like giving homestead, like what the Mormon wives wanted to do. Like, they're like, oh, we're just gonna have our own. It just did not translate well in the modern day. And I feel like he was trying to make this point about like loneliness and how we're so connected, but we're not. And you could just totally tell that, like, if I had to guess, an older white man did this. And the outfits they were wearing, and like everyone was always like, come on. It just was like trying to make fun of modern times, I feel like, and it just actually just made me so annoyed. But it gets even weirder. Okay, so when the dad shows up and is like, this is so embarrassing, my son's with an influencer, you need to leave him. She does, right? And then she ends up going to this like sex party. The set was basically this cube with one side missing, so you could see the inside, and then they would also be on the other sides of the walls, and each wall was like a giant screen. It would spin and you could see the inside, if that makes sense. And at one point when she's at the sex party, the screen is these violently graphic images of like neon figures engaging in sexual activities. And it was like crazy, like insanely graphic. Like somebody on all fours and this guy has like a giant, and it's like it was like, what's it called when, like the movement, it literally was like, and there was one that was like this. But those are two of the tamer ones. There was like a guy sitting, they were just so graphic, and it felt so out of place. It makes no sense. It just felt so out of place with this old-timey Italian opera music with these graphic sexual poses going on in the background. Like, it just did not work. I was trying to be like, okay, maybe he's trying to tell us that she's like an OnlyFans person, but she had her own perfume and makeup line. I literally don't understand what's wrong with just keeping it classic, you know? Like, let us see Phantom of the Opera style costumes, the big wigs, the makeup. Like, that is what the opera is to me. Maybe they're trying to change that, and that's the point of this. Maybe they're trying to get newer audiences interested. But it almost felt like an insult to my generation. Like, that's what you think of people who use social media? I don't know. Oh, it was so weird. I will say what was really cool was that every seat had a little screen with the translation, but the English translation sucked. Like, I could see other people with different languages around me, and theirs had so many more words, and maybe those words just don't exist in English, but it would literally, like, things were spelled wrong. It would say, like, he see him. And I'm like, where? That's not right. So I just felt like an insult all around. Okay, the English translation was kind of whack. The modern influencer, but it just was so weird. There was one part she's belting opera, like Italian music, wearing a farm outfit. I kind of wanted to stay for the third act just to see how they could top that sex party. I didn't even talk about the costumes for the sex party. Like, there were people in like leather dominatrix things, and then there was also people in like, what are those things called? Like Mickey Mouse costumes. A mascot, like they had like the big panda bear head. Like there was people in that. There was like so much leather. One guy was wearing nothing but a sunny side up egg over his crotch. The more I think about this, the more weirder it gets. But that's why I kind of wanted to stay, to be like, wow, how could something top this? But alas, it was very long. It was 3 hours. So at the second intermission, so I stayed for the first act, which was 30 minutes, then there was a 25-minute intermission, then a 65-minute part, another 25-minute intermission, then there was like 30 or 40 more minutes. And you have to stand. My seat was literally standing room only, so it was literally standing, and I could only see the left half of the stage. Like, the right was completely blocked by other seats. I just couldn't do it anymore. And it was only $15, so I didn't feel too bad about it. I gave it a shot. I can now see that I saw an opera at the Vienna Opera House. I feel like it would have been so much better if they just kept it in the era that it was supposed to take place in. Alas, I am not the creative director of this performance. I went to a really nice restaurant beforehand and I got a really good salad, and then I got this amazing chocolate almond souffle. Oh my gosh, I'll be dreaming of it. It was literally so good. And I think I realized here that it just takes a hella long time to get your bill. Because even this guy, like, I went to the restaurant at 5:15 and it was a 2-minute walk. Like, it was across the street from the Opera House. And I did not leave there until 6:50, and I was getting really stressed out. I was like, because I ordered my dessert at, well, I don't know when I ordered it, but I know I took a photo of it at 6:20. And I was like, okay, like 25 minutes, eat this, pay, and be there by 6:45. I hadn't even paid at 6:45. And I had literally flagged him over so many times. I was reading my book and like, and I think they're just on their own time, you know, with like respect. But I am not like that. It's like 10 o'clock, so I think I'm gonna shower and read my book. My book is getting so good, I can't stop thinking about it. I think I said earlier, but I'm reading Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. And it's about like this conspiracy within the Catholic Church. It's a thriller and a mystery, and it's super academic and it's super engaging. And I literally can't stop thinking about it. I've been reading it every chance I get today, and so I think I just want to climb into the bed and read. I'm just really looking forward to another quiet night, because I don't know if you guys know all the lore about my lovely neighbor in Scotland, but let's just say I don't ever have a moment of peace or quiet in my room. I hear Benson Boone in the stylistic choice of musical theater pretty much 24/7. The day that I left, I heard Defying Gravity 4 times in a row. 4 times in a row. Love that song. But I don't need to hear it 4 times in a row against my will, you know? So I'm kind of just looking forward to a fucking quiet night for once. I'll check back in the morning. I'm going to an art museum. And I fly back to Scotland tomorrow at 9 p.m. So I've got all day here. Sometimes I don't love evening flights like that because you kind of just get stressed about like, oh, I have to travel later. And it's hard for me to stay in the moment, but I'm gonna try. Vlogging with my phone because I don't feel like getting my camera out. I'm sitting outside of the Belvedere Art Museum, and I got this pain au chocolat. It is so good. Oh my gosh, it's so soft. Sometimes the subway makes me feel like I'm on a roller coaster at Kings Island when they would be like, and that all clear means you're out of here. Enjoy your ride on the racer and have a great rest of your day at Kings Island. I don't know, it just kind of was giving amusement park. Okay, now I'm at this palace. It's like the Imperial Palace where all the royal families lived here, and I would tell you how to pronounce it, but what I've learned today is that I can't say anything right because that museum was actually called the Belvedere, not the Belvedere, whatever the hell I said. So I'll let you know at the end what it's called. But it's massive and it's beautiful, and I got a student discount, so I'm gonna go check it out. Also, you know what is so cool about this place? It is so easy to get everywhere. There's buses, trams, subways, and it's so easy to follow. There's a train like literally every 2 minutes, and it's super cheap. Like you can get a whole day pass for €9. Amazing. Okay, while I was eating lunch, my phone was on like 10%, and by the end of lunch it was at 3%. I didn't even touch it, I promise. And so I had to get back here without looking at my phone. I came back to my hostel to pick up my backpack. I still have like 4 hours until my flight, but my phone is now completely dead, and my boarding pass is on there, and so is my bus ticket from Edinburgh back to Glasgow. So I need my phone to charge. So we're taking a little break in the hostel bar restaurant where there currently is no one. They're playing last year's Super Bowl, I think, or the year before. And I'm just gonna read and let my phone charge, hopefully to at least 25%. It's going so slow, and turns out my phone charger's broken, so I had to go borrow one, and that's a really slow charger, so I'm kind of running into a snag, but it's gonna be okay. Luckily, I knew how to get back here without looking at my phone, because I was getting super stressed, and I was nervous too because I haven't seen anyone ask you for your like subway ticket, and I was like, what if the one time my phone is dead, there's someone checking tickets? Anyways, there it is down there. Classic. And there's the Super Bowl. I don't know which one that is. It's the Chiefs and the Eagles. Was that like last year or 2 years ago? You think I know? Made it to the airport. Update, I am literally so tired I'm about to fall asleep. This flight is 2.5 hours, and then I have an hour ride to Glasgow. I can do this. And I can't sleep on the plane because I didn't bring a face mask, and every time I fall asleep sitting upright, my mouth falls open, and it's so embarrassing. So I usually wear a face mask just to cover my open mouth. But I don't have one, so I don't want to sleep. We'll see how it goes when I'm on the plane. Good thing this book is really, really interesting. It's like really action-packed and thriller, so it keeps me awake.